Hello! My name is Callista, and welcome back to Pillars of Eternity. In the last episode, Ximena actually sorted a feud between some farmers and the local miller. The miller was upcharging the farmers for grain, and so they couldn't really afford it. Now, Ximena sided with the peasants. She was able to get the miller to lower his prices. However, this does bring up the thought of, well, how long are the grain stores going to last then? If the farmers can now buy the grain at a fair price, that means they're going to start buying the grain. The grain stores are going to go down. The crops are currently blighted. Now, Ximena, truth be told, does not care about any of this. All she wanted was for the peasants to somewhat be on her side, just in case someone comes asking, oh, this godlike, we want to have a word with her. She's in trouble. Have you seen her? Ximena wants the peasants to say, no, officers, we haven't seen her. We don't know who you're talking about. She's probably in a different village. Just go on. Like, that's really all she wants. The grain stores going down doesn't really matter to Ximena. She's not going to live here. So what does it matter to her? As I say, I make no secret of this. Ximena is selfish. Ximena is deeply, deeply selfish. And I love her so much. Now then, ooh, okay. This looks very nice. Yep, stealing. Commoners, guards. Anyone named Harlan and Durgan. And then we have Tautanu, maybe? Let's see. What have you all got in here? Dented and dull, these swords look ready for the forge. Okay. And... oh, this isn't stealing, though. If it's not classified as stealing, I'm taking it. Daily affirmations of focus and efficiency. Ooh. 1. All errors can be reforged into lessons. Abaddon rebuilt himself from ruin. No setback is insurmountable, not even death itself, so long as the soul is dedicated to the task. 2. Work hard, work well. Abaddon demands only honest labour and forthright service. All errors can be reforged if your first intentions are pure. 3. All ignorance can be reforged into knowledge. Master your craft and excel at what you have been trusted to do. Do not offend your teacher by remaining a student forever. 4. Each generation must forge its successors. Teach your trade to all who are willing to learn, and in doing so, multiply the fruits of your knowledge. 5. All difficulties can be reforged into triumphs. Meet strife with humility and acceptance. Let adversity temper the ingot of your will, and you will never shatter. 6. Embrace your station. Fulfill the duties of your rank, and meddle not in the affairs of your betters. All guilds fail at their weakest link. 7. All loss can be reforged into strength. Profitable work heals all emptiness. So long as you have the tools of your trade, you will always be able to forge your wealth anew. Value the work of others, and they will value your works in return. Share the harvest and the hungry, and your tools with the destitute. All souls can be reforged into whatever we will. Hard work is not exclusive to life. Death is no time for complacency. Commit yourself to excellence in this cycle and the next. Well, I mean, that seems a bit much. You might not remember. You might not remember that you pledged yourself to excellence in this life. The bellows sigh into the furnace, and the coals burn brighter still. Lovely. Now then. You see a group of adventurers surrounded by a crowd of attacking Zorips. This man is with them, seemingly unconcerned by the battle, even detached from it, as he stands in the middle of his comrades, chanting. His expression bordering on elation. His voice is powerful and deep, booming out across the combatants as a rich counterpoint to the chaos of their fighting. With every phrase, the battlefield changes. His allies glow with a pulsing blue light, freezing the Zorips that surround them. A blazing pyre erupts from the ground, cutting and burning the creatures and sending them scattering. One of the fallen Zorips suddenly explodes as 3 giant grubs crawl from its corpse and attack the remaining enemies. The man continues to chant, thoroughly enthralled by the joy of the moment. Finally, the creatures have been reduced to 1. His allies stand back as the man approaches it, still chanting. He removes his hammer and swings at the Zorip. His phrase ends as the hammer connects with its head. punctuating the spell and bringing his song to an end. Damn. Damn. So the chanter class seemed really interesting. That was a chanter. That was a chanter. They sing songs during battle and the songs can have certain effects. It seemed really cool, but what could I say? I like rogues. I like my stabby rogues. And who are you? You see a man crouching, surreptitious and alone. A series of untamed shrubs, all that hides him from the vision ahead. His eyes are locked on a dilemgan? I don't know what that means. Beautiful and terrible, eyes half-lidded as she hums. A bird with fantastic blue and orange plumage sits on her shoulder, trilling gently, and the man is entranced. Trembling, tentative, he stands, and the tranquility is broken by the bird's startled squawk. The Delamagan half smiles, beckoning with twig-like fingers. Is this, I'm imagining something like are they called Spriggans in Skyrim? I'm imagining something like that. She does not speak as he approaches. His mouth is dripping sounds of awe and admiration. She waits, coy and tempting, and with agonizing slowness, he is before her. Then something changes. She sees something hanging limply from his side and begins to hiss, fingers suddenly claws and eyes black with hate. He has no time to reach for his axe or grimoire as she strikes, and just as soon as she strikes, she is gone. The only evidence of her existence, the shuddering wreck on the ground. He grabs at his grimoire, nevertheless, and begins to chant, but the words of magical language of his own imagining, scribbled in a maniacal shorthand, ring hollow, and the silence continues unabated. He turns and shrugs at someone or something, but if there is something there, you do not see it. Ooh. Very mysterious, aye. An account of Tautanu's sails. The pages are nearly empty, damn. This Amawa is an impressive build, towering above the countertop. His skin is the dusky blue of the deeper oceans, and his thick arms boast corded muscle. Small ears frame a square-jawed face, coated in smeared soot and arcing black tattoos alike. He offers you a broad smile as you approach. Welcome. You're the first new face I've seen in quite some time. What can I do for you? Is this your shop? That it is. Been here near on 20 years now. Seen all manner of things over the years. Good luck and bad. Tautanu smiles as the guards standing watch along the wall, but the black hammersmithery remains. What do you have here? You come to us at a strange time, I'm afraid. The stock's not what it used to be, but we've fine weapons and armour to offer yet, all forged right here at the Black Hammer. What happened? We just don't have the supplies. Been expecting the next delivery for near on a week now, and haven't seen a sign of it. Have to expect they were hit by bandits. The road out east is crawling with them. Or my workers ran off with the wagon themselves, maybe, to make some coin. Tatanu snorts, as if that lot would dare. He's right about the bandits. The dire situations in villages like this, and the exodus to the cities, has created far too many opportunities for unscrupulous sorts. Tautanu scratches his jaw, thinking. If you happen to be headed that way, maybe you could keep an eye out for a supply wagon, or my shipment at least. They'd be cutting through the Black Meadow, I expect. Only good road for it. As it is, most of our weapons go to His Grace, Lord Radric. Tautanu glances at the nearby guard, and that's as it should be, but it doesn't leave much for outsiders. We just don't have the iron. I'll find your supplies, I'll see them back safe and sound. Where was the wagon travelling from? We literally remember, he just said it was the Black Meadow. Yeah, we'll find them, and, hopefully you will pay. I'll find your supplies. Tautanu nods. Then you have my thanks. You bring those supplies back, and I'll have plenty more to offer you. A discount to start. Oh, and if you find any of my workers, tell them to hurry it up or they can take up farming instead. Okay. Yeah, he's offering us a discount. That would be grand.
Hello.
Good to see you again. Afraid we're still running low on goods, but you're welcome to have a look at what we have. Yeah, I'll take a look. But I'll wait until we get that discount. I'd like to see your wares, please. Of course. You won't find finer anywhere else. Okay. Jenna's lance. Ooh. Oh, hello. Oh, that is way more than what we have. That is way more than what we have, but... Oh, I would like them. Very much so, please. Sad times.
Hey there.
We will have to remember when we get that discount, we'll see how much is off the rings. I doubt we'll be able to buy them. They were so expensive. They were just so expensive, but you never know. One day. Hello, that's a villager. That is also a villager. Now, okay, it doesn't look like we can go into this house either. At least I'm not seeing a door. Okay. So yeah, what was through here? Okay, to the eastern wood. And this house, the road. Then we can finish up at the Black Hound and we will have explored this place thoroughly. Perfect. Oh, hello. That's a villager. Is that something I can take? Yes, it is. Hugo and Ronan. Alright. I'll get with you in a minute. Okay, Magran's Fork. Did she say we had to go through Magran's Fork? She said, like, oh, Ranga. I'm talking about Alfra. She said Ranga lived on a lagoon. And I'm like, well, there's water down here. There's water down here. I would assume we'd have to go through Magran's Fork. Okay, now, hello. Okay, we will reach out for Hugo's soul. You see a room, bright, warm, and covered in greenery. There isn't a spot in the entire space that doesn't have some kind of plant growing in it. Small, germinating seeds in a corner here, large, sprawling vines climbing the walls there. Although most of the plants are actually in some kind of container, there are a few that have grown from the dirt floor itself. These are just as lovingly cared for as anything else in the room. This man wanders through the plants, smiling at each and every one, an old pipe clenched between his teeth. Stopping next to one, he touches a leaf, lifting it up to look at the underside, then gently rubs it between his fingers. He takes a small handful of the soil it grows in and crushes it with his fingers. Satisfied, he drops the soil back into the pot and continues to the next plant. He hums a low, cheery tune as he moves among the plants, occasionally stopping to sing a few words of something to one of them. Finally, he reaches the door, having visited every plant in the room. He turns back to look at them, a look of serene pleasure on his face. Then he turns back and is gone. Oh, you have a very nice greenhouse, sir. That's just a villager. And Ronan. You see a group of people standing around a wagon, transfixed on a sword as it swings in a large, graceful arc. This man holds the sword, passing it from hand to hand with relaxed ease, making the blade dance in front of his audience. He tosses it into the air, spins, then puts his arm behind his back to catch it. The crowd claps excitedly, and a couple of them gasp, certain they were about to see a tragedy. And you're a performer. Very nice. Very interesting. It's quite a cute way of making the world seem more alive. You know, we get to see these characters' backstories, what they are, what they do. Also, that we can go down into here. Okay, that'll be the last thing we do in town, then. Yeah, we can't enter there. And that leads to Magran's Fork. Again, no doors here. And I'm like, is that... Okay, maybe... I think this is a new spot. Yeah, nothing new there. Okay. You ever been to Defiance Bay? No, I have not. Oh, 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 I see you there. With the roads like they are, I'll stay put. Yeah, smart. Very smart. The Black Hound Inn. The windows are clouded with the haze of accumulated smoke and cooking grease. All the best inns are. I'm telling you, all of the best inns are smoky. Not good places for asthmatics. Okay, now I think this just seems to be the upper level of the inn. probably be able to get up there from inside. Okay, yeah, we read all of this before. Okay, and there's Sweynur. I was about to say, like, we haven't seen him again. Yoink. Those are all villagers. Hello.
Hello.
Don't know who you are and don't much care. Keep walking. We're not here to chat with foreigners. Aloth narrows his eyes. Careful. Looks like they're cut from the same cloth as those rowdies who attacked me. He wrinkles his nose. Smells like it too. Oh. What if I told you that Trumbull's changed his mind about his grain prices? I saw you outside the mill. What was that about? Well, we know. We know what that was about. I don't think Ximena would mince words. Like, she wants to get on these guys' good side as quickly as possible. What if I told you that Trumbull's changed his mind about his grain prices? The dwarf looks up, blinking. What? You serious? He exchanges looks with his followers, who grin hesitantly. The old man's listened to reason. We gain 10 copper. Excellent. Excellent. About time. I told them he'd come around, but damn if he didn't take his time about it. He sets a few coppers on the table. Here, buy yourself a drink now that we can afford it. Goes for you two as well. Drinks on me. Gilded Vale, moderate positive. Excellent. Glad you got Trumbull to see sense. It's gotten so the rats were looking appetizing. Ugh. Can't thank you enough. Might be will last the season now. And fucking magistrate. Half of us starving and he doesn't lift a finger. Yeah, this is... If we have the peasantry on our side, like, it's clear the peasants won't stand up to the magistrate. It's clear they won't directly stand up to him. But all Ximena needs is a chance to escape. If there are guards coming for her, all she needs is the opportunity to climb out of a back window and she can get out of there. And if we get the peasants on our side, they might at least, they're not going to say, oh, you can't have the godlike, you can't have her, we'll fight for it. They're not going to do that. She knows people like this. She may not be from this country, but she knows people like this. They're never going to stand up directly to the magistrate, but at least they might say, like, oh, why are you looking for her? Why are you looking for her? They might, mouth off and give her that opportunity to climb out the back window. Orland server. Beg pardon, Mum. Don't have much time for talking. Alright, fair play. Fair play. Villagers are drunkard. Hello. 23 copper. Don't mind me. Okay, that isn't something I can take. Selena and Strom. You see a woman emptying her satchel onto her bed, taking stock of her inventory. Potions, bandages, tinctures, and herbs are scattered throughout her room haphazardly. She bites her lip, head tilted to the side, considering. She begins to repack, one item after the other, careful deliberation undercut by shaking hands. Each item has a clearly marked place, but no matter how she repacks it, she isn't satisfied. The shaking worsens as she empties it out once more, one hand held to her mouth. Tears eke from her eyes as she gives up all semblance of order and shoves everything she can into the satchel, grabbing it and running out of the bare house. Straightening her back as she walks to the docks, chin high, eyes hard and red. A gangly young elf offers his condolences, but she can't see him for the ocean ahead of her. She wanders the docks, offering her services as a doctor to any who will listen, anyone heading out on high tide. Less than an hour later, she watches her childhood disappear in the distance, a tiny speck of an island, and tries not to jump. Oh, I like this one. I really like this one. Whoever wrote that, good job. And Strong. You see a group of young men standing around a makeshift practice target. This man stands in the middle of them, explaining the construction and use of a bow. He holds it up, pointing out each part as he speaks about it and what it does. He then walks away from the target, telling them to remain where they are, and takes his place about 200 feet away. He carefully lines up his shot, explaining what he is doing as he does, and lets the arrow fly. It hits the target dead center, much to the surprise and delight of the boys near it. He smiles, walking towards the boys, talking about proper stance and how to most effectively hold a bow. A noise comes from the tree line near their practice venue, and he stops, scanning the woods, blue eyes squinting against the sun. A shadow moves, making its way through the forest behind them. He draws an arrow and lines up the shot, carefully tracking the motion of the hidden creature. Loosing the arrow, he wastes no time and quickly grabs another. The boys spin, watching the arrow fly into the forest, immediately lost among the trees. There is a sudden, explosive movement in the undergrowth as a deer erupts from the tree line, running across the edge of the clearing. The boys laugh, turning to joke with the man about his lousy shot. They stop talking, seeing him holding the bow and leading the deer with the knocked arrow. They drop to the ground as he looses this last arrow, which flies true and strikes the deer right behind its shoulder, piercing the heart and lungs and dropping it dead almost immediately. The boys stare at the deer for a few seconds and then slowly turn to look at the man, newfound respect in their eyes. He smiles again and breathes a quiet sigh of relief. Not gonna lie, my initial thought here was that he had killed a person. Like, it was gonna turn out to be one of the boys' parents just coming to check, and he had accidentally shot someone's mom. That's where I thought that was going. Some carousers. Ooh, hello. Roaches scatter and flee under the crates. You think we ought to get ourselves read?
Sure.
Liberate, you mean? No, like a soul reader. You know, someone who can tell us where our souls got to before they came to us here and now. Figure it's like with any handsome lad in the pub. I don't much care to hear who he's been lying with before me. That is smart. That is smart. I don't necessarily care about where my soul's been. Ooh, I'm like, this is locked. I could unlock it. I'm like, are you going to kick up a fuss, though?
This calls for a subtle touch. Give me a real challenge.
Okay, and we... God damn. I mean, we got some XP for unlocking it. I'll take that, but it's stealing, and the guy's right there, so... Please leave me be. I am full to sickness with what I have seen of this place and its people. Fair, this place does seem like a wee bit of a shithole. And...
This calls for a subtle touch. There
we go.
What did I tell you?
And, ooh, padded armor, jeweller's hat. Oh, I would love to give Ximena a hat like this. You know, it's, you know, something she could cock to one side and it's got a fancy feather in it. Unfortunately, she can't wear hats because of her horns. They don't sit right. Excuse me. Crammed behind the books is a drawing that shows Aethys and Lord Redrick in a compromising position. I love it. And lockpicks and another book. Part 1. No other land has such a wild and bloody recent history. From colony to Palinate to Free Republic, the Deerwood has undergone a trial by fire to emerge as a powerful force of the Eastern Reach. Deerwood's history actually begins in Adir in 2602 AI. Adir explorers returned from a journey across the ocean with tales of the treasures they'd found. They'd discovered countless ruins scattered through the forest, as well as plains to the north of the trees that would be perfect for growing Vorlers. There was a problem, however. The locals were hostile, and there was potential for conflict. The Fairkonig of Adir... I don't know what this means. Is that more like an I want to say in Icelandic, the O with the two dots is pronounced like an So, Fairkonig, maybe, first king, knew that this was too good an opportunity to pass up and sent more explorers to scout and map the area. Exploration continued over the next 20 years. Small groups of explorers travelled back and forth between Adir and this new world, with a handful of colonists setting up small camps to establish a base for the explorers to work out of. Conflicts with the locals, who the Adirans learned are called the Glanfathans, were rare, but frequent enough for the Fairkonig to send a small squadron of guards to help protect his citizens. These guards established a central base on a river in the western section of the woods. This settlement would eventually become the city of Deerford, upon which the modern-day village of the same name is presently built. Once that base was established, the first permanent Adiran settlements began north and west of the Bale River. Over the next 3 years, thousands of Adirans made the trek from Adir to this new land. The Glanfathans, who seemed to revere the ruins, scattered through the forests, caused a few problems with some of the settlements, especially those founded near the ruins themselves. These were easily taken care of by the colonists with the help of the Imperial Guard. The Adirans, in order to further their foothold in the area, reduced the cost of production and, in an attempt to keep the Glanfathan population under control, started making slaves out of any Glanfathans captured during the uprisings. This resulted in a great increase in tension between the two groups. Gee, I wonder why. I wonder why. You just took them as slaves. That's not going to have any negative consequences. With the population of the area growing, an official government structure was established by the Fair Koning. He appointed several earls to preside over the land and assigned them thanes to help run their territories, and they called the new Grefram the Deerwood. Deerford remained the centre for the Imperial Guard, but the settlement in Pearlwood Gulf, New Dunrad, was the true seat of power for the area. Sitting at the edge of the ocean, forest, fertile farmland, and a river that runs from the coast to the White March, settlers flocked to the area, hoping to establish names for themselves. Adir began to spread across the new land. Very interesting, and you're coming with me. You're absolutely coming with me. Now then, we have... Okay, we've got 3 people here. And what is... Oh, it's a dog. Hello. These bones are covered in tiny bite marks. Aww. This hound stares intently at the covered window, head cocked as if waiting to hear a particular sound. It looks up when you approach and whines a low note, tail wagging slightly. Aww. Ooh, pet the dog. The dog's tail thumps against the floorboards. Oh, wait, no, we have more we can talk about with the dog. Sorry, girl. Don't think he's coming back. The dog whines softly, head tilting. Oh my god, we could take the dog with us. I was worried that if we pick this, you know, the dog suddenly becomes aggressive. You have to kill the dog. However, considering we're getting 2 options, I mean, clearly Ximena has a soft spot for animals. Clearly she has a soft spot for animals. She's taken a pig. She has taken a pig. Maybe Ximena really loves animals. Maybe they're like one of her weaknesses. She sees this dog kind of staring up at her and she's like, oh, like maybe she views animals as like the only innocent creatures. I could see that, you know, like when she, you know, robs a person, like, oh, how could you do that? How could you do that? That person was innocent. Really? They were innocent. They've never done anything bad over the course of their life, and they will never do anything bad over the course of their life. No one is innocent. No one is truly innocent. You can't ascribe those same intentions to animals. So maybe she kind of views like, oh yeah, animals, they're the only innocent things in the world, and as such, you should take care of them. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Like, this dog needs our help. I kind of like that. Ximena, who is this, like, she's completely selfish. She is selfish, she is self-serving, but if you put, like, a cute animal in front of her, she's like, I will help the animal. I don't care about people, but the animals I will help. Well, you can come with me. Maybe we'll find him on the way. Oh! The dog's ears perk up. It trots over to you and barks happily. Oh my god, we have... We have pet. This small dog has a glossy black coat and an affable disposition. She trots along at your heels, gazing up devotedly whenever you come to a stop. Oh my god, but what about Waddles? I've named the pig. The pig is called Waddles. What about him? We can swap them out. We can swap them out. That's what we can do. Also, I should probably... You have a cape. You have a cape. Because here's what I'm thinking. We do have, we picked up yet another one. Another cloak. You know what? I'm thinking... That looks really good. So you know what? I think Alof. Also, because you are squishy. You are squishy. So there you go. Take that. A proper cape. Not some kind of ragged looking thing. There we go. I'll probably sort out the armour in between sessions. Just go through what's in our stash and all of that. Okay. Yes, we have puppy friend. We have puppy friend. Now then, Scylla, I'm in. What is going on with you? You see a long, empty road cutting through 2 large crop fields. The air is silent, and the land seems too still for early afternoon. This woman walks slowly on the road, leading a horse, curiously looking around. She seems to sense something wrong, but is unable to discern what it is. She stops, sniffing at the air, her nose high. Her brow crinkles, and she casts about, looking for something. The air is clear, no clouds. She sniffs again, still looking around, confusion clouding her face, mouthing a single word. Fire? She looks out across the fields, her confusion turning to fear. She holds her hand up to block the sun from her eyes and scans the fields again. Not finding what she was looking for, she jumps onto her horse's back, the fear quickly becoming panic. She kicks, sending the horse shooting down the path, which bends around some trees to where the farmhouse should be. She pulls up short, horror now in residence on her face, as she stares at the burned and charred mess that used to be her family's home. Tears well in her eyes as she kicks again, racing to the rubble. I'm not gonna lie, these little backstories they're giving me ideas for future characters. As I said, I think I'm only gonna read all of them, I should say, for this particular village. In future cities and towns and all of that, I'm gonna be more discerning. If someone's got a really cool name, then I'll check out their story, but otherwise I'm probably not, because it is a lot of reading, and it does slow down progress. But these are giving me ideas. I'm coming up with new concepts, like, oh, that could be interesting. Oh, yeah, I like that aspect. Now, Shane shakes Moraine. You see an emaciated boy in chains, black holes for eyes, staring sightlessly at a wall. A man in a dark coat walks in, a scroll and an oddly shaped quill in his hand. The boy glances at him expressionless, a corpse waiting for animation. The man clucks at him, disapproval clear in his tone. The boy stands, limbs hanging. The man takes the quill and begins to write on the boy's chest. There goes my timer. Copying sharp, angular symbols from the scroll. The child doesn't flinch as the quill digs into his skin, drawing blood as it goes. The wizard finishes with a flourish and barks some arcane command, setting the symbols to glow dully. The boy cries out, knees hitting the stone hard, his chest burning black and red. Finally, the glow disappears, leaving only hard black scars etched into the skin. He slumps sideways, twitching, eyes facing the back of his skull. The wizard grunts, kicking him on the legs on his way out. The boy lies on the floor until dawn, eyes still black like holes, the twitches growing into convulsive shakes. Ooh, spooky. Very spooky. And lastly, Deslok Najtep. You see a man soar through the air, hitting a nearby wall with a nauseating crunch. He doesn't get up. His attacker, a burly, clean-cut warrior with a carnivorous grin, turns and shoves his fist into the stomach of another assailant, removing another from the impromptu brawl. The bar is a whirlwind of elbows, knees, fists, and feet, with no end in sight, and he is in his element. In the corner, 3 smaller men speak quietly, throwing malicious glances at the larger man in the centre. He breaks a chair over a tattooed head, cackling. The trio position themselves in 3 parts of the room, and with a terse nod, they charge. Unfortunately for them, the man sees them coming. Something in his eyes burns brightly, and all 3 slump to the ground in an agony that's all in their minds. The burly man bows to a room of the unconscious and incapacitated before sauntering out, off-key whistle trailing behind him. Okay. Okay, sir. You do you. I will not mess with you. Let's head out this way. Also because the lady downstairs might have some complaints that we stole the previous owner's dog. Okay, yeah, this leads out to where I thought it would. Alrighty then. Now then, I'm gonna bring this episode to a close right here. In the next one, we leave Gilded Vale. I think first we're gonna head north. We're gonna grab the whatchamacallit, that thing on the wall. We're gonna do that, and then we're gonna head south and see if we can find this midwife. But until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. A special thanks to my channel members such as SM2K and Christopher K. Davis. I've been Callista. Thanks for watching and see you in the next episode.